we'll go ahead and get started with the Pledge of Allegiance. And after the Pledge of Allegiance, this evening we have Pastor Tracy Brooks from Victory Assembly here to lead our invocation. So if you'll remain standing. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Let's pray. Dear Heavenly Father, thank you on behalf of all those gathered here tonight. We thank you for your many abundant blessings. We thank you, Lord Jesus, for the ability to be involved in useful work and for the ability to honor and bring respect to this city. Thank you for loving us and for your boundless grace and boundless love towards us. In Scripture you have said that the citizens ought to obey the governing authorities, since you have established those very authorities to promote peace and order and justice. Therefore, I pray for our mayor, for our city council. I ask that you would graciously grant them wisdom to govern amid the conflicting interest in issues of our times, a sense of welfare and true need for our people, keen thirst for justice and righteousness, confidence in what is good and fitting for this city, and the ability to work together in harmony even when there is honest disagreements. Lord, I ask that you grant them personal peace in their lives and joy in their task. I pray for the agenda set forth to them tonight. Please give them an assurance of what would please you and what would benefit those who live and work in and around our beloved city of Bonner Springs. I pray all this in your name. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Rachel. Yeah, I'm sorry. Should have thought behind that one.
Well, one of my high honors that we get to do at the beginning of city council meetings occasionally is offer proclamations. And this first proclamation is certainly quite an honor. If I could have Sergeant Coleman Marshall and Corporal Adam Kahn come forward, please. Whereas it is important that the city of Bonner Springs and our community recognize the significant valor and professional actions of our law enforcement officers under substantial and potentially deadly circumstances. And whereas on May 9th, 2018, Bonner Springs Police Department Sergeant Coleman Marshall and Corporal Adam Kahn were presented with the Gold Award for Valor for Exceptional Police Service from the Kansas Associations of Chiefs of Police. And whereas the Kansas Association of Chiefs of Police Gold Valor Award recognizes officers who display uncommon valor in the line of duty. And whereas Sergeant Marshall and Corporal Kahn were nominated for this award due to their heroic acts on March 20th, 2017, during an incident involving a pursuit through several jurisdictions. And whereas Sergeant Marshall and Corporal Kahn drove to intercept the pursuit, and as the suspect approached them, one of the occupants of the vehicle fired multiple rounds at both officers. And whereas the suspect vehicle was eventually disabled in Kansas City, Kansas, and both Sergeant Marshall and Corporal Kahn continued to assist the Kansas City Police Department until the suspect was taken into custody. And whereas Sergeant Marshall and Corporal Kahn exercised excellent judgment, decisive and immediate actions, helping to stop a threat to members of the community and all officers involved. Now, therefore, I, Jeff Harrington, Mayor of Bonner Springs, Kansas, do proclaim May 14, 2018 as Sergeant Coleman Marshall Day and Corporal Adam Kahn Day in the city of Bonner Springs, and encourage all citizens to express their warmest appreciation and gratitude to Sergeant Marshall and Corporal Kahn for their valiant actions and professional performance of duties. Congratulations, gentlemen.
get out of the picture.
Thank you, gentlemen. Do you have anything you'd like to add? No? Well, it's another day on the job for you, I'm sure. It's how you consider it, but I can't tell you how much all of us, the citizens of Bonner Springs, as well as the council and the mayor, appreciate what you do every day, let alone on one day in March last year. So, thank you, Mayor.
Thank you.
Very much. My next proclamation I have the honor of presenting is for Public Service Recognition Week. And this includes quite a bit of recognition for these next few weeks. So if I could have anyone from the public service departments come forward, please. Public Works, Public Utilities. We're going to have a whole bunch of people standing up here. Maybe more people up here than out there. How's that? The Law Enforcement Week. Also, you guys please
Come back.
forward.
Come back.
Emergency Medical Services. I saw some already come up. Very good. Public Service Recognition Week is May 6th through May 12th, 2018. In honor of the millions of public employees at the federal, state, county, and city levels. Whereas in regards to Law Enforcement Memorial Week, there are approximately 900,000 law enforcement officers serving communities across the United States, including the dedicated members of the Bonner Springs Police Department. And whereas there were 58,627 assaults against law enforcement officers in 2016, resulting in approximately 16,677 injuries. And since the first recorded death in 1791, more than 20,000 law enforcement officers in the United States have made the ultimate sacrifice, including 2 members of the Bonner Springs Police Department. And whereas the names of these dedicated public servants are engraved on the walls of the National Law Enforcement Officers Memorial in Washington, D.C., with 360 new names of fallen heroes to be added to this spring. And whereas Bonner Springs Law Enforcement Memorial Day is May 16th with an 11 a.m. service at Kelly Murphy Park in commemoration of those courageous officers who sacrificed their lives in the line of duty. And whereas in regards to Emergency Medical Services Week, the members of the Emergency Medical Services System consists of first responders, emergency medical technicians, paramedics, firefighters, educators, administrators, emergency nurses, emergency physicians, and others who provide life-saving care to those in need 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And whereas the members of emergency medical services teams, whether career or volunteer, engage in thousands of hours of continuing education and specialized training to enhance their life-saving skills. And whereas in regards to Public Works Week, these professionals focus on infrastructure, facilities, and services that are of vital importance to sustainable and resilient communities and to the public health, high quality of life, and well-being of the people of Bonner Springs. And whereas these infrastructure, facilities, and services could not be provided without the dedicated efforts of public works professionals who are responsible for rebuilding, improving, and protecting our transportation, water supply, water treatment, and solid waste systems, public buildings, and other structures and facilities essential to our citizens. And whereas without these public servants at every level, continuity would be impossible in a democracy that regularly changes its leaders and elected officials. Now, therefore, I, Jeff Harrington, Mayor of Bonner Springs, Kansas, do hereby proclaim Public Service Recognition Week as May 6th through 12th, 2018. Law Enforcement Memorial Week as May 13th through 19th, 2018. Emergency Medical Services Week as May 20th through 26th, 2018. And Public Works Week as May 21st through 27th, 2018. In the city of Bonner Springs, and encourage all citizens to recognize the accomplishment and contributions of government employees at all levels, federal, state, and county. Thank you, gentlemen and ladies. to medical services.
Yes, sir.
National Public Works Statement. So thank you all. Thank you.
I like a bit of wordplay.
Shake your hands. Shake your hands. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you. Yes.
Number I don't know.
What time on Wednesday? 11?
I went the wrong way.
Yep.
Okay, we'll
No, totally appreciate it.
Email about a month ago.
You gonna do your youth council or you gonna?
Oh, yes. Oh, yeah.
You're not done.
Yeah, my goodness.
You could
Wonder, I do
proclaim
have one
all
more.
over the place.
One more proclamation to do.
Dictionary according to Jeff.
If I could have the members of the Mayor's Youth Council come forward, please. Those that were able to be here tonight. I greatly appreciate both of you being here. This is a busy time of year for students going to school, and so for you guys to take a moment out, I really appreciate that. And this is let me go ahead with the proclamation. Whereas it is vitally important that cities recognize young people, listen to their concerns, and respect their opinions. And whereas with the cooperation of the Bonner Springs High School, the mayor has formed a youth advisory council that meets on a monthly basis to discuss issues raised by its members and to present information about the city of Bonner Springs, its growth, policies, and issues. And whereas students that achieve success in both academics and activities are members of the council, and whereas the city benefits from their opinions and ideas which help residents of all ages, and whereas members include seniors Mason Dobbs and Jameson Jackson, juniors Claire Gurley and David Holt, sophomores Reese Bacon and Ethan Byers, and freshmen Paige Swartz and Maggie Myers. And whereas these members of the council are role models to the entire high school student body and their families, the entire community can be proud of their achievements in all facets of their lives. Now, therefore, I, Jeff Harrington, Mayor of Bonner Springs Community, urge all local residents to join us to honor and thank the Mayor's Youth Advisory Council for members for their dedication to our community. Thank you all very much.
Thank you.
All right. Proclamation.
Yeah.
Visualize. There you go. Oh, we got a picture. One more photo op. Very good. Well, ladies, thank you so much. I greatly appreciate all the time and effort that you put into the Mayor's Youth Council. This is an opportunity for not only the city to get information out to the young people, primarily in the community, but I'm finding out that it's going past the young people right on to their parents very quickly. And then also to get input from the community back into the city, which is vitally important. Mayor Smith started the Mayor's Youth Council with Councilman Stevens quite some time ago, and we've been able to continue that. And I really would like to tell everyone how much I appreciate Councilman Stevens' extra effort he's put into the Mayor's Youth Council also, and it's a great opportunity for us to keep that connection going. Also, as part of the Mayor's Youth Council, we have graduation ropes for the seniors that we'll be passing along and getting them for their graduation gowns. Both are graduating and on to more great things. And if you wouldn't mind taking those to those...
I know just the lady who will deliver them to
Yes,
us.
he has an inside line to the high school.
High school,
So I believe that's the bottom of the proclamation list. It's a lot of proclamizing. Thank you all. And as well, you're invited, all the Mayor's Youth Council and a guest are invited to the Mayor's Banquet at Piblo Days. So hope to see them there.
Thank
Be
you.
great. Yeah, thank you. Rolling right along on to our item number 4, which is citizens' concerns about items not on today's agenda. If there's anyone here who would like to stand and speak, address the city council on items not on tonight's agenda, you're more than welcome to step to the podium and state your name and address and let us know what your concern is. Please.
Travis Lankard, 411 Olcott Avenue. You'll hear again from me tonight because I am on the agenda, but I wanted to address a portion of it that's not, which is this week, this Saturday, is our Thrive and Drive. It's our first annual, and Angela Luttrell has put a whole lot of effort into making it happen. And we are going to have a lot of different communities represented because no one else seems to be having these big events that honor first responders and military. So we have had an outpouring of support from Johnson County, Leavenworth County, the rest of Wyandotte County. And I just want everyone to be welcoming and respectful to our guests. When we reached out originally and started planning this, we first approached the Bonner Springs departments, but it was too far out and they were not able to really throw a whole lot of support behind it. But when you show up on Saturday, because you're all going to be there, I hope that you see the efforts that we've put into this, and hopefully this grows into something to be much larger and much more successful in the future. So I know there were some rumors going around that we had not actually approached the Bonner Springs departments, and that's kind of what I want to put an end to. Nothing from any of you, obviously, but just in case you hear somebody say anything about that, I promise we did reach out and do our best efforts to make sure that everyone was included in this. And thank you.
Thank you, Travis. We're looking forward to that. I'm excited. Please.
Could I go ahead and give
Yeah.
out like flyers to you guys? Because apparently there's a lot of you, I'm Angela Luttrell, 113 West 2nd Street. There's a lot of people that have not known about this event, from the Parks and Rec, the police department, the fire department. The fire department I did a cold call last week, and apparently they were unaware. The police department has been a little bit unresponsive, but I understand they're very busy. There's a lot of new changes and everything going on. Can I give you?
Please.
Sure.
This is the opportunity. I'm not sure what this community is about anymore. I thought this was about growth, and Travis kind of talked me into staying here. He believed in something about growing in this community, building, going further. And sometimes you got to reach out to other people. Don't we want other people to come here?
One to them as well.
So if I can ask you, what's your goal in this community? Do we want to thrive? Do we want to bring people here? Do we want people to move here and think this is a great town? Do we? Of course. Not.
Certainly.
Why should we be divided? This isn't about KCK, fire department, which 4, 5, and 20 actually came together to put a barbecue team. Not Bonner Springs, but 3 other teams came together. Now, a week and a half ago, Bonner Springs did step up. I went ahead and asked KCK to go ahead and step down. KCK is bringing the honor guards out here to give the respects for the people that have fallen in the line of duty. So they're bringing their drums and bagpipes. Wyandotte County is coming out here into your community and bringing, their flags, the color guards. It's not about divide, it's about coming together.
Well, I'm certainly glad they've been able to participate. We are really glad. This sounds like a great opportunity, the first Thrive and Drive that you've had here in Bonner Springs. So I'm sure as more and more people learn about it, we'll be able to rally support for it. So we appreciate all the time and hard effort you put into it, and I'm looking forward to it. So thank you.
All right.
Anyone else that'd like to stand and address, please?
Sean Barlow, 13810 Wood End Road. A couple of issues about safety. Last fall, Public Works came out on the S-curve by the curve bridge, cut down trees and opened up that sight line. But now all that's growing back up, and really what needs to happen in there is to come in with chainsaws and cut some more and then take a backhoe and take that fence line out. And I noticed they just mowed it, and if that, if we get that done when they mow, that'll just keep that sight line open. And it was really nice because you could see what was coming at you. And now when you come around that, people kind of be in the middle of the road, and it's getting ugly again. And appreciate the city coming out and doing that. And I mean, they got right on it, but I think probably to make this to where it's fixed is going to take a little bit more effort. But boy, if we could get a work order put in for them to be able to come out and get that said and done, get that fence out of there, then they can just mow through. They don't have to take all the trees out. The big ones are up high, but everything in that fence line now is back up, and there's no real way to deal with it when things are growing outside of, bring a backhoe in there and just scrape those stumps out of there and grade it off, and then when they mow, it's great. I'm sure if they get too busy and it gets too tough to do, I'm sure there's people on Wood End that'd get down there and run that deal. Wouldn't take any time. So if there's any way we could get that done, I'd appreciate it. The other issue is the blind hilltops, and discussed this some before. I've done a little research on have some remedies. Traffic's increasing, and we're getting construction traffic coming over the hilltops, and we're getting people coming over it at pretty good rates of speed, and it's just impossible to be able to pull out and negotiate the narrow road with the way the hilltops are. And a simple fix, and there's a outfit out of Illinois that makes these rubber, they're just a speed bump, recycled tires, and they install quickly. We need a sign. We've got 2 hilltops that are of biggest concern, and if we put those in, 2 runs of them with 4 signs, that way people slow down enough so they can at least see you trying to come out. And we got people on the road with big trucks and big trailers, and you're talking 40 plus feet trying to come onto a 17-foot road, and even at the speed limit, it's hard for those people to get shut down. And we've got people that are doing sometimes 40 and 50 over there, and it's impossible. There's no way to gauge it. The other way would be when the city fills in from a repair, water, or whatever, just have a little extra asphalt. I've been driving over speed bumps and measuring them and gauging it, and I think we either need to have a 3-inch speed bump that goes like, say, 12 feet in the middle of the road, which would leave about 2.5 feet on the sides. That way only 2 tires are grabbing it, and so it's not quite as obnoxious. Or to go clear across with a 2-inch speed bump, but then you've got bicycles and motorcycles and stuff like that, a little tougher for them, so I say the 3-inch. And I didn't do the math on it, but it can't be that much asphalt to do that. And then the signs are $20 a piece, and I think 20 or a little more to bring in. The rubber speed bumps brought in with the signs, with hardware, $883 and change to bring those in to ensure that people get out of their driveways safely. And we've got farm equipment still working on that road. And once you pull out a John Deere with an implement behind it, you don't have much room for a car to pass when he's going straight down the street. And the speed bumps will allow them to slow down to get right on that hilltop, and then they're going to be able to see what's there. And it's not going to slow anybody down that much. They can get on it, get over it, and then get back to 30 mile an hour. So, can we do it?
I appreciate your input. However, it's been my understanding the speed bumps usually aren't one of the first speed correction techniques that the city uses because of the inclement weather that we have in the wintertime. It makes plowing those roads very difficult. So what I'd like to do is there may be some other speed enforcement measures that can be done. I know that in other parts of the community, we've had a lot of success with that. So what I would like to do is refer this on to Sean, our city manager, and have him have the appropriate people look into this. With signage, perhaps, speed bumps usually haven't been utilized on city streets. Now, they're frequently used in private areas, and those may be what you're referencing in other places. And like you said, they don't always speed everybody down, with speed bumps. And they often will pick right up after that. So let's consider a few other, and get some ideas from the city manager to alleviate some of your concerns you have about safety and speed on Wood End.
I would like to have a 24/7 in there. Now, several people on the street have talked to law enforcement to come out, and so far to no avail. And that's not a 24/7 measure. And speed bumps are plowed over tens of thousands of times during the winter, and it's a low-cost deal. And I bet if we talk to any one of those plow guys, they're going to go, yeah, we can get over that. Not a problem.
Well, they can get over it. It's the damage to the equipment, the damage getting over it.
Well, the plows are spring-loaded. I mean, that's why they make them that way. And they'll know they're there. They're going to see the signs coming up on it. I really, if there's some way we could do this, because we're just an accident waiting to happen.
Yeah,
They were
well,
just
I'll
so-
certainly refer it on to the city manager, and he'll get in touch with you. And your contact information, again? Did you say your address already? Okay, then we got it. Very good.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Sean.
Anyone else that'd like to stand and address the city council?
Hi,
Hi.
it's my first city council meeting I've ever been to.
Excellent. Who are you?
That's all I have to say.
Yeah.
No, my name is Clifton Bogie, and I just recently moved into 222 Oak Street, which is also a business spot. And I was suggested to me to come here and by the mayor himself. So to just say what I'm doing there. So it's more of an announcement of what's going on there. It's called Acorn Performing Arts Academy, and I teach music instruction for private instrument. And I'm placed here to serve the community, to make music, teach people, kids and adults, doesn't have to be kids, and to make art with music. And depending on how things unfold, there might be the element of theater element added into it as things are growing. So that's, I was glad to be here, and for the glory of God and for the good of people.
Very good. Well, thank you, and welcome to Bonner Springs.
Exciting.
Thank you for coming. One of our new neighbors on the block.
Yeah, that's great. That's neat.
Unless there's anyone else that'd like to address the city council this evening, stand and state your name and address. Seeing none, we'll move on to the consent agenda. The consent agenda this evening includes the minutes from the April 23rd city council meeting, claims for city operation, public housing authority claims, the treasurer's report, and public use or a requested modification for Thrive and Drive, massage therapy license renewal, for Spa Raffia, massage and craniosacral therapy, a personnel policy manual, the elected official electronic communication and equipment use policy. All a part of this consent agenda. Is there anything to be pulled by the city staff? Citizens? Clarifications or questions from the council?
I wouldn't mind pulling item number 9. Not that I've got objections, but I think a little bit more discussion than just a
Okay,
comment, so.
pulled. Anything else?
I wanted to pull item number 14.
14 Item 14 is not a part of the consent agenda. That'll be
Okay.
addressed in the regular meeting. That's okay, certainly fine. Anyone else? I'd entertain a motion concerning the rest of the consent agenda, other than item number 9, which will be discussed after this.
So moved.
So moved and
Seconded.
seconded. Vote, please.
Thompson?
Yes.
Curley,
Yes.
Stevens?
Yes.
Cannon?
Yes.
Kip?
Yes.
Wood?
Yes.
Reed?
Yes.
Mackey?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Very good. So we'll return to item number 9, which is a public use request modification for Thrive and Drive. And I'll, let me see here. The city manager and the city clerk recommend approval. Would you like to identify this or what we're doing this evening? Have a staff report?
On this item, what you see in the map, most of it was already requested with the last item with the OED extension of their alcohol permit, and then the previous farmer's market requests that we do each year already included most of what you see up by Kelly Murphy Park. So this addition just extends the road closure on 2nd Street from Elm all the way to Cedar. Originally, it was from Elm to Oak, but the emergency vehicles would like to park in that area as like a touch-a-truck sort of thing, display vehicles, but they want to be able to have access to leave should there be an emergency.
Very good. That's the only change. Anything else to add, sir? You, do
No, I was hoping for questions, but
you have anything to add before we open it up to
yes.
council questions?
So you'll see that it goes across Oak. I don't plan on closing Oak. The farmer's market will continue as normal. At about closing time, the honor guard will start there and then march down through the city to the back part of Kobe's before we start our honoree ceremony. When they go across Oak Street, I would, certainly like to be able to not have somebody run them down. I know there's a lot of different options, and I should have asked for a lot more when we first started this, but we didn't know exactly what was going to be happening. It's our first time. Oak will not be closed.
Other than
need
walking across.
Right. I need 2nd Street. I need those areas, and we will have. Rumor has it there'll be some surprise emergency vehicles coming in as well, and news crews and various other things. So the ability to also, I know Vicki was planning on having her bikers, she has a couple of bike groups coming in, and so she would like to know if they could park along Cedar Street like they do during the bike show. I know that's not on the map, I'm just thinking ahead, because we are taking her parking lot, and it won't block the road, it won't restrict the road, it'll just allow her to have bike parking close and accessible. That's the only other thing that I was going to mention tonight. If there's any concerns, I'm certainly willing to change, so.
Very good. Thank you. Is anything else to be added by the citizens? Seeing none, I'd entertain a motion.
Mr. Mayor, I make a motion to approve the public use request modification for the Thrive and Drive event on Saturday, May 19th from 8 a.m. to 9 p.m.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Now we can discuss this. And
Well, I
Mr.
think-
Stevens?
Since I had already discussed a little bit with Mr. Slankard and with staff, they pretty much have kind of talked exactly what I was going to ask about. Was the fact is that they had shown it closing all the way from Elm to Cedar, and if we're closing Oak right there, it's going to create a mess without closing Oak as entirety. So if we could modify it or so to leave at least Oak open, but possibly take steps to either use one of our temporary four-way stops if traffic can proceed around it, to possibly provide a safe passage back and forth, but not actually close Oak itself.
That four-way stop
That was
sign
my
sounds like
concern.
perfect time to use it.
Yeah.
Or that portable stop sign, I guess is what it is. Other questions, concerns, sir?
I just didn't quite understand the parking arrangement that you were talking about.
Which one, the motorcycles? Okay, so what usually happens
That's
during...
not restricted parking anyway.
Yeah, anyone
There's
can park
parking
there. It's just,
allowed there.
anyone can park there already, but she's going to put out like bike parking signs because she's going to have hundreds of bikes coming. So they're essentially just be parking, but I wanted to go ahead and let people know that.
Clarify it.
Yeah.
And it's going to be a four-way stop sign. It's
On Oak and
Oak.
Second, yes.
Yeah,
if-
right, good.
Might put one on Second and Cedar here.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that'd be nice. Yeah. Support is always appreciated.
I'm sorry, anyone else?
Mark,
Pam?
Jimmy?
Sir? No? Seeing no other questions, concerns, comments, vote please.
Curley,
Yes.
Stephen,
Yes. Oh, do you see, Steve?
Yes.
Woods,
Yes.
Reed,
Yes.
Mackey,
Yes.
Yes.
Thompson.
Yes.
Very good.
And if I may add one more thing, this weekend will be a practice run because in August for National Farmers Market Week, I'm planning a tractor show. Yeah, so
Nice.
this is just warming up.
Nice.
August 11th. This is a warm up. I've already given too much information.
We had a lot of tractors in town, just,
Yeah,
Stick around for a little while.
yeah. Oh,
wow.
I know a guy, so. Okay, rolling along, that would mean our next item for discussion is item number 13, our stormwater master plan. Staff?
Good evening, Mayor, City Council, Dallas Sloan City Planner. Before you tonight is a recommendation from the selection committee for professional service agreement for the stormwater master plan, the Wilson County amount not to exceed $43,000, and authorize the city manager to execute the agreement. The background behind this, we have never had a stormwater master plan. This is one of three pieces that, in staff's opinion, is required for a 5-year, multi-year capital improvements plan. The first piece, stormwater, became a real big issue on Riverview this past year. In order to get ahead of that, we need to actually analyze the problems in and around the city. The selection committee was myself, the Public Works Director, Finance Director, City Clerk, and the Human Resources Director. We reviewed, we ended up receiving 2 RFQs. The one in your packet tonight is from Wilson and Company. Wilson Company probably has more knowledge of any other firm that we deal with. They've done 3 or 4 other stormwater studies at Park, Spring Creek in the past, for those who've been here for a while, are aware of that. They, based upon the recommendation of the committee, which was to recommend Wilson Company, Justin Platt, who's our city engineer of Wilson Company, be one of the leads on that project. If you have any questions, I'll be glad to answer any questions you may have.
Very good. Anything to add by citizens concerning this issue, stormwater master plan? Seeing none, I'd entertain a motion.
Mr. Mayor, I make a motion to award the professional services agreement to Wilson and Company for the stormwater master plan for an amount not to exceed $43,000 and authorize the city manager to execute the agreement.
Second.
Moved and seconded, and we'll start discussion down here this time. Sir?
Nothing. I like the fact that they're online surveys that they'll participate, be a part of the thing.
As well as the public meetings? Yep.
Yes.
Ma'am?
Sean, where's 43,000 coming from?
This next one.
We have that already.
Ask that question.
Okay. Very good. Nothing else? Vote, please.
Stephen,
Yes.
Reed, Mackey,
Yes.
Curley,
Yes.
Dan,
Yes.
Kip,
Yes.
Wood,
Yes.
Thompson.
Yes.
Very good. That's something that we have to concern ourselves with. I'm glad we're looking into those things. Thank you. On to item number 14, an ordinance for a franchise agreement with Verizon Enterprise Solutions. Staff?
Aaron McCullough, City Clerk. This ordinance grants a franchise agreement with Verizon Enterprise Solutions, who would be planning to install local fiber optic telecommunications service within the city. It's based off from our other franchise agreements, so it kind of mirrors most of the others that we have. It's 5% of gross receipts. There's no expense-related impact to the city with the agreement, but at this time, we're not sure what the potential revenues could be because we don't have a current agreement with Verizon.
All right, thank you. Anything from the citizens concerning the Verizon franchise agreement?
We do have a representative.
Wonderful. Do you have anything to add, sir?
No, I'm just going to
Great, thank you. Seeing nothing else, I'd entertain a motion.
Mr. Mayor, I make a motion to approve an ordinance granting the franchise agreement to Verizon Enterprise Solutions for local communications service.
And we'll start, moved and seconded. Well, now we'll start down here this time. Do you have anything else? Questions, concerns, comments?
No.
Sir?
Do you have certain areas in the city that you're wanting to expand into, or is it going to be citywide?
No, you're fine right there.
Actually, we have our load-up design complete already, so we'll be coming up, starting in both directions, and we'll be coming down the main route of town right now. I believe we have roughly 6 miles engineered, but with the next round of overlays, we'll probably, I'd say we do about 30-40% more, that's probably around 10 miles total. And that's a combination of aerial and underground as well.
Okay.
Pretty good. Anything else? Sir, Megan?
Section 27 kind of relieves you, it's, chance occurrences. It sort of relieves you from any problem. Act of God, happens, and you're just, wasn't us.
I'm just a project manager, I'm not a lawyer.
Okay. Well, was anybody?
It's reviewed by both our attorney and their attorney.
Oh, okay, I'm fine then.
Very good. Good catch, good one. Sir? Sir?
Yeah, I had a question on section 2 about access lines shall not include the following. And on there it said, lines providing only data services without service or voice services processed by telecommunications local exchange service provider or private line service agreement. I was kind of curious who actually still uses just telecommunication lines. I mean, isn't any data service line viable for telecommunications? I mean, like with the use of Skype or cell phone usage through Wi-Fi or anything?
Are you talking as far as copper line versus fiber, or are you talking?
Well, when I read that, the way that I understood it is that that telecommunications lines are the only ones that are included in the 5% of the agreement. So data lines, like pure data lines, say if I wanted to get just a data access line from Verizon, then none of that revenue would go to the city.
Again, I didn't write it down.
Yeah, I understand. That was my next question with
Would
that.
only allow that type of line as well. So it works both ways. They couldn't install it without us getting the franchise money, and they couldn't install it at all without.
It being one of those.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's what this was implying or saying, is that if they install that.
Yeah, if they install it, these are the types of lines they can install.
Okay, thank you for the clarification.
Very good, great questions. Anything else? No? Seeing none, vote please.
Yes.
Stevens?
Yes.
Thompson?
Yes.
Curley?
Yes.
Cannon?
Yes.
Kip?
Yes.
Wood?
Yes.
Matheson?
Yes.
Very good. Congratulations. Welcome to Bonner Springs. Item number 15 this evening on our agenda is an ordinance to adopt construction specifications and design criteria. Staff?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, Council, and Matt Beach, Street Superintendent. Tonight, we're recommending the update to the ordinance for the construction specifications and design criteria. We've been working with the city engineer on this for a while now, and Justin Cloud is lucky enough to be here with us to answer any questions.
Very good. Anything to add?
This needs to be done. The currently adopted specifications are extremely out of date. Some of them date back to the 1980s. Since then, technology has changed. So
Makes it 20 minutes old.
make a better product for the city. So this basically just updates the construction specifications, but then also changes it so that it's the current version that's in use, so it can attach a date to it. So the next time the American Public Works Association Kansas City chapter updates their specifications, then Bonner's will automatically update.
Very good. Anything from the citizens to add concerning the APWA construction guidelines? Seeing none, I'd entertain a motion.
Mr. Mayor, I make a motion to approve an ordinance adopting the American Public Works Association construction specifications and design criteria.
Second.
So moved and seconded. Questions, concerns, comments from the council? Sir? Sir? No? Ann?
Nothing.
Nothing here.
All right, very good. Vote, please.
Shannon?
Yes.
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 Curley?
Yes.
Thompson?
Yes.
Reed?
Yes.
Wood?
Yes.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Very good. Thank you. On to item number 16. JAG Properties 3 LLC IRB Resolution of Intent. Staff?
I think this is
Yeah,
public
this is a
hearing
public
and
hearing.
first.
Oh,
Number 16.
Is this a public hearing?
oh, okay. Very good. That's fine. I'll go ahead and
Because that's,
Turn back a page.
turn back a page. I did skip right over it.
yeah.
This is the JAG Properties 3 LLC IRB public hearing. First, I would entertain a motion to open the public hearing at 8:20 to consider a Kansas sales tax and ad valorem tax exemption for property finance with the proceeds of approximately $2,201,385 of industrial revenue bonds.
So moved.
So moved.
Second.
And seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, we'll go ahead and the public hearing's open. I'd like to take any public comments for. You're welcome to go ahead.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Tyler Ellsworth with the law firm of Kutak Rock, the city's bond counsel, and I'm joined by my colleague Adrian Serene, who's also been assisting on this project. I should note that the IRB applicant, JAG Properties 3, is represented this evening by Mr. Jay Gravatt and certain other members of his project team, which I'll let him introduce if it's appropriate. But I just wanted to provide two items sort of as a preview to what your next action item is, which is the consideration of resolution of intent and approval of the form of pilot agreement for the property tax abatement. So this project is an approximately $2.2 million expansion for an existing business, Ready Services, Inc. JAG Properties 3 is the owner of the land south of Ready's current facility. They've applied for 50% abatement over 10 years for the expansion, and that's consistent with the city's IRB policy. So we have prepared a resolution of intent and a pilot agreement that coincide with that request, and we've also worked with the state to prepare a cost-benefit analysis which shows that the benefits to the various taxing jurisdictions outweigh the costs of the 50% abatement over a 10-year term. So happy to answer any questions, but wanted to present those two items for you as a preview to consideration of the resolution of intent.
Very good. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Anyone else that'd like to stand and speak in favor? Thank you. Anyone like to stand and speak against?
Could I just ask a question?
That's the next thing coming up. No one speaking against. Any other questions, comments, or concerns? Please.
The cost, where the benefits outweigh the cost of the 10-year period, is that based on what? I mean, just did it automatically for us, or?
I thought I saw it in here. You want to address that, please?
Yeah. So the cost benefit analysis is a program that the State Department of Commerce puts together. They sort of compile worksheets and data and look at not just the property taxes that will be abated and received, but also sort of the spin-off economic activity of the construction work, the long-term impact of having additional workers and additional business within the community. And so it's slight in this case. This isn't a large IRB in terms of sort of the range of IRBs that you might see in the city or in the region, but the benefits of that additional economic activity are projected to outweigh the costs of the 50% abatement.
Is there any sort of interest or guarantee, or we're taking a gamble?
You are taking a gamble. There's no guarantee. It's just a projection, but they do use this data regularly. I don't know exactly, can't tell you exactly where they get their data from, but they do look at a variety of factors, including sort of new employees and sales related to the expanded facility, et cetera.
They get their analysis, and it's prepared by the Kansas Department of Commerce, and it's included in our packet, and that's public record. There may be a copy of it. Perhaps a library. Well, yeah, it's pretty in-depth.
The Department of Commerce is obviously pro-business, pro-expansion, pro-everything, but we have abandoned facilities around here. I mean, like, there's no guarantee. Like, what is so special about this one that's not, I mean, like, why can't we fill the other spaces we have around? You know what I mean? Like, that's kind of where it's, sure, it's great to build buildings and somebody's going to get paid, you know, but what if it doesn't pay out? I mean, that's kind of
That's a great question. I think in this case, there is an existing business in town that has an existing facility, and so, and they can certainly answer this better than I can. I think to expand right next door to where they've been for probably 20, 25 years probably makes a great deal of sense. I can see the benefit of, doing an infill development somewhere else in the city, but I think just practically speaking for them to have their operations consolidated is probably the reason.
Good? All right, thank you.
I kind of agree with Travis on some of the stuff as far as them having some skin in the game, where it is a little more reassuring knowing they've been around, so they're just looking at an expansion.
Well, and also with the IRBs, this is a 50% abatement of the property taxes. So they are paying 50% of their property taxes over the next 10 years. So it's not that our incentive program, and I invite you guys to get more information concerning our commercial development and incentive program. The city has all that, and it's all online also at our website. We've gone to quite a bit along efforts to have a progressive incentive policy that doesn't just front load everything for developers. This IRB is a nice way to help incentivize development, commercial and industrial development in the city. You may have been referring to some of the commercial areas that are.
Yeah, no, I'm thinking about the tip that's coming later, but sometimes I like to ask questions. Just,
right.
If there's a good response.
And for example, the last incentive program that we utilized for Kincaid was a progressive incentive program that started out at one level and grew as they put more investment into our community. This isn't money out of our pocket. This is money that is can show a benefit to the community actuarially.
And wanting to stay, I mean, that's what we're shooting for. I just sometimes.
Very good.
Like someone has to ask.
I actually enjoy this more than I do the tip.
Well, yeah, it's hard to say any of it's enjoyable, but I appreciate that. Thank you very much. And
They're already here.
Yep. Other questions, concerns, comments concerning this issue? Seeing none, I'll then entertain a motion to close the public hearing at 8:27.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
And that's all we need to do with that issue. On item number 16, we'll move right along to, we're going, 17? No, we're doing 17 now. We just did 16, now we're doing 17.
To 14.
All right, now, our next agenda item, JAG Properties 3 LLC IRB in resolution of intent. You want to introduce that one?
Just to add, the IRB includes resolution currently now to issue industrial revenue bonds for approximately about $2.3 million. It grants a 10-year, 50% tax abatement, as well as granting a Kansas sales tax exemption as part of all. Again, both the applicants and
Very good. Thank you. Anything to add, citizens? Seeing none, I'd entertain a motion.
Mr. Mayor, I'll make a motion to approve a resolution of intent to issue industrial revenue bonds in the approximate amount of $2,201,385 for JAG Properties 3 LLC for property tax abatement and sales tax exemption.
Second.
Moved and seconded. We'll have questions, comments, and concerns from the council. Sir? No?
Yeah, I have one. I was curious, it's mentioned that JAG Properties 3 LLC is an Arizona limited liability company. Is this owned by Ready Services, or is this just another entity?
Please.
I'm Tim Evans, I'm counsel for Jake Levatt. Yeah, he's the principal of that. He's here. When he did form this LLC in Arizona, it will be authorized, if not already, in the state of Kansas as this project progresses.
Okay. Is this through a leasehold agreement or like a long-term leasehold? I was curious.
Yes, it's going to do the city will own, we will lease.
Oh, yeah, we own the bonds, don't we?
Pay the lease payments each, and at 10 years.
Okay. I had a second question about the transferability. It mentions that the benefits of this agreement may not be transferred to any assignee of the tenant without the written consent of the city, provided, however, that the tenant may assign this agreement without the consent of the city if the assignee is an entity with which the tenant has merged in accordance with section 9.4 of the lease. And that was my inspiration for asking about the long-term lease usage, or essentially like if JAG is an investment company leasing to Ready Services, or if they're both intermingled and similar ownership.
JAG is owned by Mr. Levatt, and I don't envision, I think considering the lease and the payment, that we would remain a separate entity all during the course of this. It's possible we could get merged that, but there's no plans for this.
Okay.
That's on this business for a long time. Again, he's been in this adjacent building where he is now since 1999, so we just see this as continuation of this business.
Gotcha. And I entirely appreciate that. I was asked to bring some of those up because we have had a couple tax-style things in Bonner happen where the entities were sold and things happened with it, and that's the only reason I brought it up, because I was asked to. So I appreciate it, gentlemen. Thank you for expanding in Bonner. We appreciate it.
Anything else? Ann? No?
No.
Additional.
No? Nothing else from the council? Go ahead and ask for a vote, please.
Billy?
Yes.
Shannon?
Yes.
Reese?
Yes.
Thompson?
Yes.
Kip?
Yes.
Mackey?
Yes.
Wood?
Yes.
Yes.
Very good. Thank you very much, and congratulations. And again, thank you for continuing in Bonner Springs.
Yeah. Yeah.
Ready Services has a long history here already, so very good. Thank you. Moving on to item number 18, our city manager's report.
Quickly, just as a reminder, Katie Group, a project that the city was heavily involved with going and ultimately we're seeing that labor is having a groundbreaking ceremony for their new corporate office tomorrow at 11 a.m. There's a, for those who don't know, if you go into our industrial park across the river, you'll see a very large white tent. That's where it's at. Just going to the industrial park and take a left. Also want to point out that the Bonner Springs, Kansas Police Department's memorial service is on Wednesday at Kelly Murphy Memorial Park. That's at 11 a.m. And also, last Memorial Day week is quickly approaching. As a reminder, city offices will be closed that Monday. That'll cause some interruption in a few things. The council meeting will be postponed until the 29th, that Tuesday, as well as traffic service will be delayed a day as part of that. And also want to point out there's an event going on, the annual Memorial Day service at the cemetery is going to be at 10 a.m. on that Monday. And with that, that concludes my report.
Very good. Thank you very much. We'll go ahead to city council items, and I think it's the turn to start down here. Sir?
Happy to be here.
Very good.
Nothing to add tonight.
Had a very successful fishing derby just after the weather started. Had 49 participants, ages 2 to 15, and then there was 3 age categories, 1 to 6, 7 to 9, and 10 to 15, and prizes for longest fishing pole, I guess. Shortest fish, tackle box, most fish, camp chair. I don't know what that is, but they had a good time, and luckily the weather held off and it was a success. So thanks to Bonner Parks and Recs for continuing to just do creative ideas and bring people into the community. And Marvel Days, you were out, got to get a selfie with the mayor in a pink costume. That's right off my bucket list.
Costume? That's a suit.
His regular.
My uniform.
Yeah, okay.
What was the biggest fish?
He did not put that on there. That's what I was looking for. Sorry.
No, what?
We'll say 25 pounds.
Out of North Park Lake.
State
Serious.
Well, hey, we have no information opposing that, so.
And Amber, on our electronic communications and equipment policy, do you need that signed and returned to you?
I'll get it to you guys.
Okay. We're all very excited because we've all been issued iPads for use going forward, so you'll be seeing us fidget with those for the next month or two.
We're attempting to do away with some of the volume of paper, and it's my understanding just in paper alone we'll pay for these iPads shortly. So,
Yeah.
I will still need the paper.
Because I'm asked on a regular basis, I see the Dollar General sign has been moved. That's exciting.
Yes.
Do we know what the projected move date is?
I believe it's kind of been a moving target.
Yeah,
They're hoping to get in by the end of this month.
Okay.
July 1st.
July 1st.
Yeah,
All
it's-
right. Will that prompt
Moving target.
the
Moving dollar.
moving forward of the redevelopment of that Thriftway corner then?
Be a dollar.
Which will then result in closing that parking lot?
It should.
Moving target.
Yep, I'll accept that.
It's private property, so we have to be careful.
Understood. Any news on our graffiti artists? Have they been apprehended or?
I haven't heard that we've apprehended them. I know that the public campaign and those efforts, both the public as well as the media, has put a stop to a lot of this.
Did you have anything else?
Few occurrences since then, but not near the amount or frequency that
Good. And the last thing is I was contacted by a citizen about the house at 118 Elm. I believe it's currently vacant. They are concerned about it being
dilapidated.
Dilapidated, maintaining adherence to codes. Pardon me. So if maybe someone could check on that. Thank you.
And some of the discussion we had earlier about having codes enforcement that we may have to contract out. That's one facility. There's another facility down, or another building down on Nakoni, right across from the school, that just driving by, like you said, a windshield inspection, it appears to have some issues with it. So these are concerns I brought up with Sean. So unfortunately, this process takes a long time to remediate. So I would encourage you, as well as everyone, if you have areas that are of concern, please pass them along to the city manager or Amber. Thank you so much for bringing us forward.
That's all I have. Thank you.
Ma'am?
Farmers Market has made a wonderful opening. I'm just, okay, yeah, good. Even with the rain in the morning last Saturday, it just kept right on going, and it's a centerpiece.
I want to again continue to put a plug in for the Tiblo Talk. If you don't have your subscription, get a subscription. And for people, every time I talk with people that are in my ward and the constituents, no matter what the subject is, they always talk about not having a newspaper. And we've got a chance now. I want to continue to plug you guys and support that. And I think subscriptions are growing, aren't they? So we want to give them a chance to, here's our opportunity to get a piece of communication going here. So keep up the good work.
I was going to see about crosswalks, getting down to downtown Bonner. My girlfriend and I were walking with a stroller trying to cross Pine Street, and we were about a foot away from the stroller almost got hit by a car from somebody popping over the hill. And it's been addressed, or it's been brought up to me numerous times, people stopping me on the street, that area, there's been a lot of redevelopment, as well as myself, one of our partners, we've had a bunch of families moving into that area, and there isn't really a safe way to be able to get downtown if you do want to walk to Farmers Market or even any of the shops. I know, like, even pushing a stroller, we can't even use the sidewalks. I mean, some of them, there's one of them on Emerson that's literally so bad it fell down the hill. The whole sidewalk just fell off. And I've had several ladies that try to go running, and they've also been asking about that there isn't any way to safely be able to run or pass. Like the area where the old Pizza Hut is, there isn't a designated crosswalk or area to run, say if they were wanting to do a downtown run or something. And if we could look at those just to be able to help improve and revitalize our downtown. That's all for me.
Very good. We'll pass that along and have the crosswalk situation considered along with the sidewalk improvement program. I think that works together well.
Yeah.
Sir?
Nothing.
Nothing, Dad? All right. Well, thank you all very much. I'd move right on into the mayor's report. The first of which is I'd like to compliment everyone for the work they put into having a wonderful Marble Day this year. It's a Bonner's family-friendly, fun event in the spring, and they let go 5,000 pink balls that ran down Oak Street from 2nd to 3rd Street, and that benefited the K's program at the high school, as well as the Key Club. I'm sorry, K's, I can't keep all that straight. But worthy recipients nonetheless, and the whole day had a lot of activities for young kids, and if you haven't had an opportunity to be there on Oak Street and watch the 5,000 balls go down the street, it's kids hyperventilate in the middle of all that. So if you can have a chance to step back and watch all that going on, it's amazing. So I appreciate all that the city has done to help support that and invite everyone back to it. Yes, I am not sponsored by Pepto-Bismol on that day. And a kid asked me, well, why are you wearing that? And that was the hardest question to answer. But the pink suit is more of a uniform than a costume. Please. Moving along.
I'll stick with costume.
I would like to inform everyone, if they're not already, you can access the Kansas Flags Honors program, and they will automatically, through the governor's office, they will notify any email address on current times that the flag's been asked to be flown at half-staff. And tomorrow, the Governor, Jeff Collier, has requested that flags be flown at half-staff in honor of National Peace Officers Memorial Day. So I invite everyone to fly their flags at half-staff in honor of that. And if you need more information on how to get on that email list, just let me know. The issues that have been brought up this evening, the safety on 138th, or Wood End, as you, in between Call Drive and 138th, and the mowing, those are issues that continue, and I appreciate you bringing those back to us, and I welcome you anytime here to City Council if you'd like to discuss those further, or have other concerns. We've asked our city manager to take that into consideration, especially with the increase in the development out there. I know that was a great concern to the whole neighborhood out there, and there's been some things already done, and that's starting to come to fruition. So I really, I think this can be a win-win for the whole community, both the neighborhood out there as well as the individuals that are developing out there. So I appreciate all your input, and we want nothing but the safest roads in Bonner Springs for not only you, but anybody driving down your road. So thank you. As well as the crosswalks and sidewalks, that's great. And if you need more questions about specific places that your suggestion for a crosswalk, let Sean know, and they have a plan, a sidewalk plan. So
I'm sure I'll be getting a list in about a week or so.
Yep. And again, I'd like everyone to take a special opportunity to, in this current situation that the city is, because of some of the ways that staff have moved around, we're without a codes enforcement officer that's internal here employed by the city. So if you have issues with things you see across Bonner Springs that may be a codes enforcement issue, please notify the city. It's not that we're not doing codes enforcement, it's just we don't have a codes enforcement officer right now. We're in between. So we've made arrangements to consider having that done on a contractual basis with ITBS. And so in that meantime, any concerns that anyone in the community has, please let the city clerk or city manager know about those, and I'd appreciate it. I was sent a letter by the district chairman for the Boy Scouts, and they're planning a BB gun training at their summer camp this year, which has had to be moved from Camp Nash for the Cub Scouts out to the Ag Hall of Fame. Since I got the letter, he said there may be they may have had a workaround. From what he understood, it was going to be quite an expensive permit fee through the city. And he had asked for a variance or waiving that permit fee. And I thought this is an organization that is going to promote safety, and they have quite a long track record of doing that training very appropriately. So if necessary, I believe they already have had that taken care of, but if necessary, I'd like to put this on the agenda for our next city council meeting to waive the fees for the Boy Scouts to have their BB gun training at their summer camp this year.
What permits would they require?
They spoke specifically. I don't know, do you know the exact permits they require?
I don't remember. I think.
The Scouts are providing the training because it is the only free opportunity for Scouts to earn this merit badge. There are other private training places, but there is a substantial fee. The focus of the program is to teach young people to use my request is simple. Can you assist us in waiving the permit? There's experience many young people. It spoke, we called the city to find out what permits might be required for our event, but we were told the cost of the permit was $600 because the event included a shooting range for the BB guns.
I think it's beyond just the fee, it's also the land use that they're working through as well. So the city has a restriction on where you can actually shoot firearms, and that comes into play on this as well. So it's not something that we would just waive a fee for, it's involved.
It's a special use permit that they don't currently hold. If you remember the Overton Archery Center, same scenario, different weapon. And that was the discussion I had with them. The Boy Scouts camp has that under their special use. Ag Hall does not, therefore they're required to go through the process. That's where they came up with the fee.
So the fee for the actual application could certainly be waived at your discretion, but ultimately the approval of that would be subject to the Land Commission, ultimately through that process.
And I think it should go through that process if it is required a special use permit. I know that Ag Hall of Fame has done similar situations before, and I would like it to take its own natural course through the special permit process, but I'd appreciate it. I think this is an opportunity for us to waive a fee for a group that could benefit far more people in Bonner Springs than it would cost. I don't know about the specifics of this one, but and it may have been just done without. It's always, sometimes it seems as though it's better to forge ahead and ask forgiveness instead of permission. But I know they've had similar training opportunities with BB guns in what appears to be a bouncy house. I've seen that at Touch a Truck one year, I think. And it was a bouncy house with walls, and the BB gun was shot inside the bouncy house with walls at a target. So if it's enclosed in a bouncy house, how can it be, that big a deal? But anyway.
You'll shoot your eye out.
Yeah, you'll shoot.
Say.
Well, they had
Bad idea all around.
They had protective glasses, and they have all kinds of safety people there that love to explain the safety issues, but it may have been just one of those things. But I was amazed that it was a bouncy house that was happening in there. But if you have other concerns, or if there's any questions about the safety or the manner in which it's going to be done, I invite you to reach out to Travis Dale with the Boy Scouts, and he made mention that he thought this was going to be taken care of, but if they do have to get a permit, I'd like to offer to waive that fee.
Is that a new letter? Because he wrote me and we addressed this a couple months ago.
This is...
Reached back out, I just didn't know if that's the...
I just got it last week.
In January.
Yeah, but I just got it last week.
With a new date on it.
Yeah, more efficient. Very good.
To be clear, Councilmember Kipp and I visited about this situation, and I think we had left it.
Yeah, I reached back out to him and just said, there's some other land use issues, They called me back and explained to me why we can't use the Boy Scout camp or what's going on there, and I never heard back, so I just...
Yeah, and this last week he said something about he thought that the Ag Hall had that as a permitted use, I guess. So I don't know what the specifics were. Maybe he thought it was a permitted use because they had seen that done at Touch a Truck. So they may have just been doing that because I don't know. I don't know. Anyway, it needs to be considered.
Could they use our shooting range? Is that possible?
I don't know.
Bad idea, good idea?
I don't know if we own that, do we?
I don't know.
I don't think we're...
And then you're taking 200 little Cub Scouts across the railroad tracks to the shooting range, so.
All right, chalk that up.
That's a good question. I don't know. I'll refer that on.
That statement?
See that button go right down the hall?
Yep.
Yeah. Oh.
Other than that, I also would like to invite everyone to the Thrive and Drive. I've been asked to help judge said barbecue contest. I'm sorry, that's one of the perks of being mayor. But other than that, unless anyone has a question for me.
The mayor was a vegetarian.
It would be a burden.
How do we sign up? How do we sign up for the car show?
Hypothetical. I'm texting her. I'll get you forms.
Very good. Unless there's any other questions.
Sean has some.
Oh, please.
I forgot to mention this. This is in your packet, but I just want to make sure that everybody saw it. That the budget calendar, yes, it's time to do the budget.
Yes.
Is included, so it's got the dates listed on there. If you've got any concerns or questions about that moving forward, contact me. Work
Very good.
Thank you.
Nothing else?
Down in the bottom.
We're adjourned.